Good evening, Zephyr.
Good evening.
How are you doing this evening?
I'm excited.
Yes, and I am very excited as well. And Rochelle, how are you doing this evening? Yes. I know that you have many interesting questions, so whenever you are ready to begin, you may.
All right. Um, I would like to know if that picture, specifically the one that I wanted to know, if it's if that is a specific place in actuality. Like, is it not just a dream or some a vision that someone had? Is it real?
The specific picture that you have showed the host has many places in reality. The one that shows most directly and most deeply connected with the most probability of the having a complete reality of all of the entities co-acting with each other, interacting with each other. This is what you would say to be a parallel existence, Earth in which um, perhaps as you would see it, to be experiments in the Egyptian time by many entities who are outside of the planet, were successful, and they had kept these hybrids alive, and they have progressed into a society which allowed these entities to coexist with humanity, to be within the same vibrational level, the same soul evolution, coming from this third to fourth density exchange. In this reality, it is the most precise, it is the most accurate, it is the most exhilarating experience that connects with this. And within a very specific area, it is what is now considered to be Ireland, within the southern regions of Ireland. And this is where this parallel Earth, in which looks very much the same as far as it is with land masses and geography, it would be in the southern area.
Wow. Huh.
Yes!
That is very awesome.
Yes!
Thank you. Um, I also have another question regarding um, it's furries. That's the concept. That's what that's called. Um, I want to know if I particularly, I mean, I am attracted to all of these ideas. Do, does this have anything to do with me specifically? I don't know. Really, do I don't know if you can tell that, if you can give me that answer, but I'm just very
Yes!
curious.
Yes, there are many reasons why you are attracted to this, not only one, but the two that are most perceivable within your energy. One is you are a human who is existing in this time of what you would consider to be ancient Egypt, when these entities are doing the experiments. So you are able to see these entities walking around. Many of you consider them to be gods that were angry because they are still very animalistic. They are still moving toward you in aggressive manners. So you see these to be almost a monster, but there is one specific entity who appears to be a horse and also appears to be uh, perhaps what you would see as a wild cat, not a large cat or not a domestic cat, but a medium-sized wild cat. And within this idea, this entity who is hybrided with a human comes to you and appears to you, and it is a very sovereign being who is very high in consciousness, who is very connected to you and is connected to itself. It behaves in a very kind and approachable manner. So this entity is surrounded by you for several weeks. You are feeding this entity, you are sharing love with this entity, and you begin to understand that this is not an angry God. It is a beautiful, as you would see it, gift from the gods, and the gods have brought you this loving entity to express to you the love for what you have done. You are very adamant about being intimate with large amounts of entities verbally, helping teach freedom of oneself, freedom against religious ideas. This is when the beliefs of the ancient Egyptians start going in a more religion based way instead of a spiritual based idea. So you are teaching to keep the spirituality, but not the overall concepts. So you believe that this is the gods gifting you this entity. This is one of your deep experiences within uh, how you would see to be a past existence, but also within one of these parallel realities in which I have spoke of where this picture is taking place, in a reality that is very similar to this. You are truly connected to these entities as you are what you would say to be a middle-ized hybrid, one that is mostly human, and these entities mixed. You are not the kind that is longer, such as the four-legged entities, but the two-legged entity, and you are experiencing this in a parallel existence as you speak.
Wow. Okay. So that being that you speak of, well, there's two. You mentioned a horse, and then the wildcat. Are they part of my lineage, or am I a part of theirs? Are they part of my DNA?
It is not looked at upon physical lineage as none of these entities in this specific reality, the one that we are sharing as we speak, the one in which you are sitting and speaking to me now, this specific existence did not have lineage from these entities. They were, as you would say, wiped out before they were able to procreate. So in this existence, there is no physical lineage within this, but it is what you would say to be a deep energetic lineage. It is one that connects you back to these entities several times in many existences, and these two previous existences are the ones in which stand out most greatly to your energy, because these are the ones that you are most deeply connected to.
Ah, that makes me sad that they don't exist physically.
There are several realities in which they do exist. There is even entities who appear to be much as these entities in this existence, but they are in a separate area of the galaxy. They are in a planet of their own, and they are going through what you would say to be a second to third density exchange as we are speaking. They are growing in the same way that you are from third to fourth density as they are from second to third density. So they do exist in your reality, but not within your planet.
Oh, okay. Okay, I understand. Um, I have a question that is a little bit off subject from what we're talking about. It it
Yes!
it is regarding our superstitions based on demons. now
Yes!
now my mother, she has a lot of um you know physical hangups, and based on alcohol and cigarettes. And I was wondering, are there? I've learned that in our past that something happened where dimensional rifts, where two-dimensional beings started becoming attached to beings of this reality, and they were ripped from the lower dimensions and they attached themselves. And throughout history, they were depicted as demons, because they would, when they were exorcised out of the body, they would take the form of dogs, and because they were frightened, and that's they depicted themselves as threatening, so that because of the fact that they were frightened. And now I was wondering if those beings were attached to anyone in our family, that if you could tell or read the energy of, I don't know if it's true or not. I just can't tell because I'm having so much difficulty with my mother, and it's really hard to speak to her. And I I feel that sometimes, even with my wife, we have arguments that stem from nothing. Like, we just have these extreme arguments that is just because of misunderstanding, and it's just small little misunderstandings. I feel that I have to shout and scream, and she screams at me, and I don't know where it comes from, and I don't know why it happens. But I get a small idea, like something, like in my anger is a liberation. I use my anger as a liberation. I don't I don't use it to, I don't, like a lot of most people, like, run away from their anger and they try to hide it. I I accept my anger because it's a tool so that I move up my vibrations. But I don't understand why it's so hard, like sometimes.
Yes, there are many reasons for this. As far as it is with the mother idea, I am not able to connect to her energy without a permission, but within the energy, as I feel it touches yours, it is much more protective from energy such as mine, energy that would be appearing as a non-physical entity than many most that I have connected to. So there is a definite impenetrableness with this energy. She will not allow energy of an external nature in. So this would make me believe to the highest degree, with the highest probability, that these entities are not counteracting with them. But the idea of these second dimensional entities, or the ones that have brought a great fall of consciousness to mankind, these entities no longer exist in this realm. There are remnants of them. There is what you would say to be residue of these entities. This is what helped um, detach humanity from its rise of consciousness in the areas of Atlantis and Numeria. But within the idea of entities connecting to other entities in this time and existence to bring down the vibration, this is very common. In fact, within your own energy, this is what is happening several times during these times of complete frustration. It is also having to do slightly with the belief systems of yours. While these entities are connecting, they are seeing an entity who is open to spirit. They are seeing an entity who can be very high vibrationally. So this is a food to them when a negative vibration arises from a high vibrational entity. They see a very great opening, and when this happens, they will attach themselves and to use your energy such as food. But the great news to understand of this is that you do not have to let them connect you if you understand your own power, if you understand your own consciousness, right to be a sovereign entity. Even if you are looking at what I would classify a demon to be, a type 2 entity of the sixth density nature, one who is the largest portion of consciousness in the physical reality, a negative being, if you will. These entities cannot interfere with you, connect you, or penetrate your own energy unless you believe that they can or allow them to. So, within your own consciousness, if you are connected to who you truly are, if you are living in the moment, if you are being who you are, and this does not mean positive, negative, it only means being who you truly are. If you are doing this, then you are connected to your higher self. And once you are connected to your higher self, all of these entities, regardless if they are 20 times the size of your own consciousness, they are not able to penetrate the energy. This is a rule of sovereignness. This is a way to protect oneself from these entities coming in. So during times of disconnection, anger, frustration, remind yourself that you are being who you are being this to the highest degree, and that in this time you are impenetrable to energy of this nature. And then you will see less and less of the occurrences of these entities trying to connect you.
Thank you.
Yes!
um, I, I, I have, I don't know. I should have wrote my questions down. I completely forgot. But have you ever encountered the entity Seth?
Yes! There has been a connection with the entity that you know as Seth. This is not a very deeply interacted idea. It is occasional connection during curiosity of the idea of this entity who has lent such great support and such great efforts to the human race. I have been able to connect to this entity, and it is a very great experience. This entity is very passionate and very loving and very connected.
Okay. Um, I I have a lot of personal questions based on Seth. I feel a really strong connection with him. Um, I knew most of his material even before I read it, and when I read it, it made me have epiphanies. Epiphany is like a holy idea. I mean, I think you know what that means, I guess.
Yes!
um, but he resonates with me a lot. Um, and I think that something's there that I feel I just can't really put into words. I don't know if he's related to me or am I related to him, like in sense, I don't know, consciousness wise.
Yes, the idea that it resonates with you so greatly is only an indicator of your consciousness having connection to his in a non-physical way, and this is why it resonates so deeply with you. There is three reasons within this entity's information why it resonates with you so greatly. The very first reason is that your own consciousness has been connected to his through non-physical existences many times, as this entity is what you would say to be an earth entity, an entity who is connected deeply to the mankind in general. This is the very first reason. The second reason is that this information that you connect to is very highly needed in this existence. In many of your past existences, you did not have the ability to connect. There has been many in which you have, but the previous ones in the most recent times have been less likely to connect. And within the third reason, the reason that this resonates with you so greatly is that this entity is one of the greatest connections to perhaps what you would say a channeler to channel connection
Mm-hmm.
within the history of information for Earth. Very little filters were left within, even though the entity known as Jane was very highly worried of her own thoughts of this. She was very indeed seeing that the filters are there. Once the information begins to flow, the energy goes through non-resistant pathways that were naturally open for her. Many entities do not share this idea. They are having closed filters, vibrational filters, but also energetic filters. So the information that comes through, although it is great and very resonant, sometimes can be filtered to a dumbing down degree, if you will. And
Mm-hmm.
within this entity, you are able to experience the information that was less filtered within her. In the beginning of the time that she connected, as is all entities who are working from channel to channeler state, um, at the very beginning, the filters are deeper and thicker, and the more that they come in tune to themselves, the more that these filters are released, you are able to experience the information in which time was very helpful in removing these filters.
Okay. Um, I have another question my based on some. Okay, sorry. Um,
Yes!
dreams. I rarely remember my dreams. Um, and then when I do dream, they're extremely chaotic sometimes. And I want to know, is there something hindering me based on my beliefs that I can't really? I got to do that myself, I think. But I'm gonna ask you, can you, do you have any tips that could help me, open myself up to more dreams or astral projection? I want to be able to astral project. I believe I can, but at the same time, I feel some kind of I feel some fear in that, and I think it's just collective fear of a lot of people. Um, I think that's mainly the reason.
Yes, this has a very large part to play within this idea. There are also other reasons that you are not able to. As you've expressed, there is belief systems that do not allow this in. But the very greatest detriment to your ability to remind yourself of this is the blockages that you carry within the throat chakra and within the third eye area. And within these two, to be able to remove these will greatly assist you. The third eye has an impediment to this because as you are learning information, you are trying to connect it with your heart, but you are a very mental person. You are very logical in certain senses when you are learning. So as information comes in, it is being processed not through the heart, but only through the mindset. And
Mm.
sometimes when there is non-resonance of information, this is strictly to do with the ego, not with the lack of resonance of the information. And sometimes when information is coming in, it is not accepted for the same reason. So within this idea to process information more so through the heart instead of the logical side, which can be very difficult for many entities, and even though you have a very great balance of feminine and masculine energy, the masculine energy overtakes your own existence when you are processing certain information. So in this, rebalance yourself as you do in your day-to-day existence with the feminine and masculine energy, and let the emotional part of you accept or do not accept the information. This will help remove the throat chakra or the third eye chakra, and within the throat area, being able to express yourself is not difficult and many times, but to be able to express yourself from the heart, this can be difficult at certain areas of your journey and your existence. To be able to express yourself is one aspect, but also going back to the information that you receive, there is much information that comes to you that resonates with you. Again, reminding yourself of the previous ideas, but also sometimes when you get information, you struggle with the idea about if it resonates or does not resonate. And this helps accumulate to the throat chakra as well. So removing these ideas will help you very greatly in this. But then there are many aspects of very simple ideas, very common ideas that I would express to many entities, regardless of the specific vibration that they carry, techniques, if you will, to help assist you in the remembrance of these, to set yourself in a deep meditative state before you are sleeping can be very useful to you as your physical body is sleeping, your mind is awake, and to repeat an affirmation, to repeat the intent of wishing to be interactive and remembering the dreams that you are within when you are in the astral state, in the dream state, to remind yourself that you are in control and to remember the outcome of this. The very second idea is to remind yourself in a sleep state never to wake instantly from this, as it will be difficult for you to recall these energies. Um,
Hmm.
it is expressed that when you are leaving the physical body, it is your consciousness is stretching out into the real world. But when you wake quickly, this is a snapping of the rubber band, and this causes great disturbance in the natural vibration of waking. But when you come out of a sleep state more slowly, then this is like inching the rubber band back together. There is no resistance within this. It is a natural way to do so. So doing this will be of great assistance, as well as all of these previous ideas that we have expressed.
Ah, I have I remember what you're saying because there's a lot of times where I would get jarred awake, and that was because of stress in my life. Um, I know you can read energy very well, so I mean, yeah, I think you know what I'm talking about. Um, and
Yes!
it's pretty. It's the moments that I'm talking about are really kind of negative, but yeah, I've learned from
Yes!
I learned from the yeah.
The idea of the alarm clock that many entities use to wake up is also a very detrimental idea. To try to set your intention before a sleep state to wake naturally and slowly. This helps as well. Many of these stressful induced awakenings that you are expressing, many of these due to the overall accumulation of not being able to wake up in the correct manner in a sleep state. So remind yourself that these ideas are behind you. Set yourself more centered into the now time and remind yourself that although these are experiences that have affected you, that you are not this experience, that you are not this entity that you were in this time. So to be able to do both of these ideas will also assist you in this way too.
Okay, all right.
There is approximately 5 minutes that is left within the time period that we have. So if you wish to express any ideas that are more needed or more expressive now, this is your choice to place them sooner than later.
All right. I right now I'm drawing a blank and I can't really think of anything. Um, I think I had a really important question, and I forgot it. Um,
Yes, if you wish to take one moment to
okay,
recenter yourself and focus, I am very accepting of the idea of needing to take time.
okay. Um, I find sometimes that it's hard to meditate. Um, do you have any ideas that, or any kind of advice that would help me meditate easier?
Yes, and the idea of meditation being looked at as a tool for expansion is a very great way to see this, but many entities begin to see this as a chore because of your hectic schedule, your daily existence going from one thing. So to see it only as a great excitement, this will help within the managing going day to day to do this, but within the state itself of meditation, to remind yourself that relaxing is the very most important idea, and that if you are not comfortable within a meditative state, to reposition the physical body, that any parts of the physical body that must be moved is very acceptable and very uh, agreeable to do so, that this will not detriment the overall vibrational state, to remind yourself 100% to relax every specific portion of the physical body, even if you are individually doing the toes and then the feet and then the ankle and then the heel and then the legs, one by one, doing piece by piece. This will help being able to focus on the task at hand and to use what you would say to be guided meditations at first until you are able to be comfortable in a state that allows you to bring your own technique to the thing.
Thank you.
Yes!
I would like to know the entities that you mentioned, the horse and then the cat. I want to know their names. Do you know their names?
I am not able to access at this moment, but if you give me one moment, I will look further into this idea.
Okay.
There is a great difference with one's name to a vibrational setting name, and within this entity of the Egyptian time, the entity that you are able to experience, this is more so connectable than the other idea. But within this, it is not a name that is given, but an energetic signature, if you will, a vibrational sounding signature.
Mm-hmm.
In this idea is Ah, La, Ra, Ta.
Ah, la, ra, ta.
Yes!
Ah, okay.
This is
And
not a given name to this entity, but an
okay,
energetic signature.
okay, all right. And that is the cat.
This is the entity that is coming from the Egypt time that you are connecting to, the one that appears to be as a cat and horse mixture.
Oh, okay. It is a cat and a horse together. Okay.
Yes! It is
Oh,
a
oh, the lower.
four-legged entity.
Oh, okay, okay. All right.
Yes!
And the upper part of its body is a torso.
Yes, it looks much as the entities from the painting that you have expressed. Um,
Okay.
and it has the feline face. It has the feline features within the face.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Yes!
Yeah. And
It is almost time to disconnect. So if you have one last question,
um and I'm still talking about that. The lower half is, it has a cat body also, right? Like four legs, like the cat.
it is more so as a horse within the back and front legs. It has very feline looking characteristics, such as the patterns within the fur, such as the style of fur itself. But in the backside, looking much like a horse, with the exception of the tail. It is not a horse tail. It is one that looks as a cat.
Okay. And it doesn't. It has hooves, or it has paws like a cat. or does it have hooves like a horse?
This bottom of the feet is not being expressed. There is only a frontal quarter view, if you will, within the memory side. The physicality is something that I am not able to deeply look into any entity. It is an energetic signature, and as
Ah,
signature, I am able to experience it at a certain angle, at a certain view.
okay, understood. And that's all.
Yes!
Thank you.
Yes, you are very welcome. I wish to express to you my excitement to connect to you. I know that many of these resonant ideas will come more deeply to you as you practice the sleep state awareness, that much of your own growth within the time that we have been able to connect to each other in all previous settings has been a very exponential growth, and this is very exciting for me to see that you have become more of you. And with this idea being expressed, I will leave you this evening in love and in light, and we will experience each other, and we have experienced each other very often in the recent times in a non physical way as well. So, with this being expressed, I leave you in love and in light, and we will experience each other again very soon.
Okay, I love you, Treb.
I love you as well. Good night.
Good night.